Welcome to Kingdom Minded Marriage. I'm so excited to begin this venture with my boo. I'm gonna grab my little cough drop right there so I can make sure I've got it just in case I need it. My throat dries out, ladies and gentlemen. Babe,
Yes.
today it's all about, you go ahead, tell them, what is it about?
Kingdom minded marriage. Not my will, but thy will be done.
Oh, some of the most damaging words in the whole entire scripture because we know the context of those words. But we're going to get into more of that later. So, what is marriage, babe? Like, where would we start if we even had to talk about, like, what? Tell me, what is marriage? What does the world say? Let's start there.
So, according to Google, marriage is the legal and formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. It also defines marriage as a combination or mixture of two or more elements.
And I absolutely love that second one. That's why we had to put that in there. I'm a science guy, so I mean, just the thought of a mixture, which is two totally separate things, but they're put together, but they still maintain their individual physical properties. So
Like H2O, water.
H2O, well, that would be more of a chemical composition, but that's still a mixture. They still maintain their chemical composition. The hydrogen atom is still a hydrogen atom. The oxygen. It's okay. So yes, I'm with her. She's got that. She's good. She's on fire. So it's a combination where it's two totally different people that are now put together, and we are referred to as one thing. But Encyclopedia Britannica takes it a little bit further. They go a little bit further. They say marriage, and this is kind of lengthy, so just deal with me here. It's a lot of words. Marriage is a legally and socially sanctioned union, usually between a man and a woman, usually. That is regulated by laws, rules, customs, beliefs, and attitudes that prescribe the rights and the duties of the partners according to the statutes of their offspring, if any. Three most important parts of a marriage are work, commitment, and love. All very ambiguous things. What do you think about the three most parts? Like, you rocking with that? You feeling that? Like, what do you think?
I did, yeah, I agree. I wonder where they got the those three things from, but just wondering.
Yeah.
But I do agree.
I don't know. Every time I hear the word love, it's just like, and it's like, what does that even mean?
It's pretty broad.
It's so broad, so
Very
broad. But
open.
we're gonna get into that, like kingdom-minded marriage. Like, what does that mean in the kingdom? And we got two more. You take this one.
Psychology Today defines marriage as the process by which two people make their relationship public, official, and permanent.
Stuck with me forever, boo. What?
Forever.
I got her. Yes. So Psychology Today, fitting, talks about the public announcement of it and the permanent nature of it, which is kind of an oxymoron in a country that has over a 50% divorce rate.
Yeah.
So the not so permanent nature of your public relationship. So that's really, really interesting. And last but certainly not least is the good old Wikipedia. Wiki says that marriage, also called matrimony or holy wedlock, old school world, is culturally and often legally recognized union between people called spouses. So the world has a lot to say about what this word marriage means, but ultimately that's not what we're concerned with. What we are concerned with is marriage that is kingdom minded. Yes, let's get it, babe. Talk to me about very briefly, because I know we're going to get into this in our next video, but the king. What does that even mean?
So the king would be a ruler who is the law maker, the law bringer, sets the standards, and also the culture and traditions for everyone that chooses to abide under that particular ruler.
I love it when she talks about that. We have lots of talks about like the standards because we are in a kingdom minded marriage and we're growing more and more in what that even means and how to progress in that. But the king is so big. Like, oh my goodness, we live in a democracy. We know what a king means. Like, we literally have zero conceptual understanding of king,
Yeah.
other than the movies that we've seen that are skewed and jaded, right? But that the king is so big. What about the dom in King Dom?
So dom would be the domain, the space or land where the king lives, where the king rules. So that would be the environment, I would say.
The environment. So putting them together, it's literally a kingdom-minded marriage is a marriage where the king, the standard setter, gets to decide everything that happens within the dom, the domain, the area of influence that you have. Would you jump on that bandwagon?
Yes.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely, darling, absolutely love it. Thank you very much. So this is the series that we're going to be going into. So what's going to come up next? The very first video that we are going to talk about is the king in the kingdom-minded marriage. Then,
Exercising domain through each other.
all right, so we're going to exercise the domain, the dominion. We're going to look at what that looks like just in our relationship together. Then we're going to be talking about exercising the domain, the dominion through our babies, through the offspring. We use that biblical King James word, through your offspring, darling, through your offspring. But for those of you that don't know what an offspring is, it's
Children.
also a scientific word, but it's children. It's just, it's through your babies. It's through your babies. Then,
Exercising domain through our individual gifts and callings.
this one's really important because just because we got together, that doesn't negate the individual gifts and talents that we have and the way that we're supposed to use those in the real world. And last but certainly not least is kingdom-minded marriage practically applied. So we'll be looking at what does this look like? Like what are some, my wife's favorite thing is mindsets. What are the mindsets, the practicality of it? What would it look like on a day-to-day basis if we're actually trying to do very tangible things that evidence that we are kingdom-minded in our marriage? All right, we will be back on soon. And remember the next video, everything begins with the king. If you don't have a king, you don't have a kingdom-minded marriage.